I'm at the age where I can mess with the mama and the daughter.
Hey, mama, daughter, and grandma.
Hey.
But I think that's what's messed up with our community now, though. We don't have that same
structure
that we used to.
So let's talk about that, because that's important too. And here's why I want to bring this up, because the accountant on Housewives of Huntsville mentioned this to Melody and Martell. He said that, I think y'all are a power couple and y'all would be good for the community.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I want y'all to start thinking about the community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know a lot of women watch that, and particularly black women watch that, and was like, oh no, that is socially inappropriate to say, and what about you gotta think about yourself, girl. But that made me, as a traditional man and as a man that's just involved with the community, to think, and I told me and Mark had this discussion real late at night one time, and I was trying to get him to understand, like, we come from a background of men where they put community over self. And that created and established our stability for generations. And it wasn't until recently, you can say the late 70s or early 80s, where we became a me culture instead of a we culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when that accountant made that statement, being in Huntsville, Alabama, that to me, I love that statement, because I was like, yeah, you have to think about what's best for the community, not more so just what's best for yourself. It's not like you've been abused or something. It's like, but so that when I say that, it's like marriage isn't an end-all be-all solution on its own, but it's the founding block of a healthy civilization, a healthy community. It has to be a staple in the community. Every community that lacks marriage is terrible.
Yeah.
They have deep poverty, they have lowest education, highest crime rate, X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
But and that's one of the problems I get with on social media, and especially in reality TV realm, is they push this agenda that it's supposed to be about you being happy. Where if we all focus on us being happy, none of us would do what's responsible, what's best for others. So that's my whole take. What you think about that?
I think happiness is a portion of it, and I don't think anyone should be miserable. If you're miserable, the marriage is trash. You don't need to be in there. But I think a lot of times people mix up being unhappy with being miserable. And just going by my family, I come from a long line of
miserable people.
No, not miserable. No, I mean, I have people that have been married long term in my family, and some people that couldn't be married longer than maybe 5 years. But like, I have an aunt and uncle back home in Kentucky that I think just celebrated their 40th anniversary. I have an auntie and uncle here, they're probably near their 40th anniversary. I have an auntie over in Alabama, and she was married to her husband 40 years before he died. I had another aunt here. Her husband just died like maybe 5 years ago and such. So I've seen it. I've seen it. But at the same point, it's just a different era, and people don't understand. Even like with some of my aunts that were married like 40-some years ago, like I had one aunt, I mean, we don't talk about it, but women weren't even allowed to get credit cards, bank accounts, apartments in their names until like the 70s. And some of my aunts were married in the 60s. And you needed 2 incomes and stuff. It was just the culture and stuff. And it's changed. We have more options now. And there's not as much of a stigma to being divorced.
True.
So,
or having children without wedlock. Remember that used to be a term? Having kids out of wedlock?
But we also in a social culture. We're in a culture where these ideas that haven't been tested, that don't have longevity behind it, they are all concepts that we feed into. And the problem with us as African Americans feeding into it is that we never had a foundation established before we started buying into it. We never had the establishment of us, or I'm not going to say never, but our establishment didn't have longevity attached to it in America, to where we had a long period of time where we could be happily married, or not even happily married individuals creating financial stability to bring our community up.
I think all this came from liberal white women.
No, it's not them. But racism does play a part in it. I was looking at a thing that was talking about racism, why black people are where we are. We as black men are targeted. No one wants to talk about, but